Hello, hello. I want to welcome all of you to another hour of some of the stuff that is hard to find anywhere else except right here on this radio station and this radio show, the Universal Consciousness Show. And we try to entertain you, we try to educate you, open your mind, stretch your mind, and sometimes blow your mind away. And we're going to do some of that tonight. First of all, my name is Aage, and I'm one of the hosts, and my co-host Diana is over in Germany. Are you there, Diana?
I'm here. Hello, everyone.
All right. Now, first, for those of you that want to listen to this show again, and you can find us at where we archive them at www.universal-consciousness-show.com, and we are on YouTube under Universal Consciousness Show, and please subscribe. That'll really help us a lot. And we're on Facebook, on Twitter, and just about everywhere else out there that you can possibly look for anything, and you'll find us. So today we have a wonderful guest with us, a lady from my country of birth, Norway. And her name is Kate Thorvaldsen, and she is a Nordic. And I joke about that probably because she definitely looked like one, and she is from way up in the north, probably pretty close to about the 63rd degree northerly latitude, somewhere around there. I grew up on the 64th degree northerly latitude. That's almost up there where you have polar bears for pets.
It's not that bad.
Anyway, I welcome to the show here, Kate. And det vil bli veldig artig å høre alle de historiene som du har fra din barndom up till now. And for those of you that didn't understand that was kind of like a greeting for her in her own language. And I will welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to being here.
Yeah. And gosh, there's so much to talk about. I don't know, Diana, where do you want to take us?
Yes, hello, Katie, and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hello.
Just for the beginning, for the people that don't know you yet, can you tell us a squeezed story about how did it all begin? How did you come to this path of researching?
Yeah, it has always been a part of my life. It started already when I was 3 years old. And that is a quite funny story, actually. I remember it very well. It was very close to Christmas time. And my mother, they had been putting me to bed for the night. And I remember that I wasn't tired. So I was standing in my crib and just standing there in the dark, looking out through the windows that were on the other side of the room. And in the next moment, then suddenly was coming this little gray creature coming from the left wall, gliding through the wall, no sound, gliding up into the front of the bed and standing there, just watching me. And he was not that much taller than me. I was standing in the crib and he was, let's say, this higher, much higher than me. And he was standing there, saying nothing. And of course, I was trying to say a lot. I was, hello, who are you? Trying to kind of giggling or something like that. And then I very fast understood that I didn't need to say anything because we had a telepathic communication instead. So he was just giving me the feeling that he was there to check upon me to see if I was okay and that I was fine. And that was it. And I don't know for how long we were staying like this, but then he was just moving away from the bed and gliding through the wall again and disappeared out through the wall. No sound, not at all. And in the next moment, then I saw this creature with one more inside of a craft and hanging outside the window. We were living on the second floor, so there was no car or anything like that. And just hanging there for a little bit and then take off. And in my little head, I was thinking, oh, it was Santa Claus. because I have heard so much about that Santa Claus will be coming soon. And of course, almost 1 week later, the Christmas came. And I remember my mother, she was picking me up and took me on her arm and was carrying me into the TV room and going to meet Santa. And when we were coming into the TV room, I saw this guy with a red suit, the false beard and the false plastic face, and I was screaming my head off. I was terrified. And this was not my Santa. I didn't like this one.
Was that your dad?
No, it was my uncle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I did not like this kind of Santa. The other one was my Santa. So I was expecting him instead.
But does it mean that the little gray being was looking very friendly? Because for a 3 years old little girl should be scary to see, just like something that she never saw before coming through the walls. Didn't you feel scared at all?
No.
So it was very friendly then. So you felt the energy from him, a positive one. Okay.
Yeah, it was very friendly. And as I said, he was just giving me this nice feeling that he was there to check if I was okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, just because they look different doesn't make them necessarily bad.
No, I didn't think that he was scary at all.
Yeah. Well, I think that when little kids like this, they are very impressionate. They go by feelings a lot more. So if there was anything of danger, I think you probably could have felt that too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. And it didn't stop there. You had more experiences.
Yeah. Then, of course, after this event, my mother and father, they got divorced and we was moving a little bit around. And when I was around 10 years old, we were moving to a place called Konnerud, outside of a place called Drammen. And life was very hard back then in all kinds of ways because I was very different from the other kids. So it was a lot of bullying and exclusions. And yeah, I was not the part of the rest of the group, as you say. And very often in the nighttime, I was climbing out on the roof and I was sitting on the roof and looking at the stars and the moon and just looking out in the dark space. And I was thinking that, why can't someone come and get me? I don't belong here. And I had no idea for how long I was doing that. And suddenly one night, there was this big bright light on the sky over me. And then just getting closer to me. And then, poof. Then I didn't remember anything more until I was waking up in the bed next morning. How I got there, I have no idea. But I had one more close encounters when I was much older. And after that encounter, I took a hypnosis. So that's why we was finding out what was happening the time when I was 10 years old. So the thing that happened was that that light was beaming me up and I was getting on a table. And there were these creatures, the same creatures that I saw the first time that was standing around me. And I think they were putting some kind of helmet on my head in that time too. So I was a little bit more scared then, I think, but because I didn't know what they were doing. And of course, next morning I didn't remember anything. Of course, the difference was that my smell was gone. Not the smell. Oh, what's the name again? When you can't smell anything.
Really?
Well,
the sense. The sense.
What? My
sense of
sense, yeah, my sense of smell was gone.
Yeah.
And when I was coming to school, and of course they were bullying me, now I was really giving them a good chance to bullying me because now I was starting to talk about other solar systems, other planets, other people, all kind of stuff. And now they were just looking at me with big eyes and thinking that now she's gone just crazy. So yeah.
So do you think in that time, in that night when you don't remember what happened, you get some knowledge downloaded in your mind about the stars and the planets and the universes or something like that?
Perhaps. They must have been coming from somewhere. All the stuff that I was talking about on school the other days. So yeah,
And why do you think they picked you up? Do you think that you belong somehow to them, or you were connected to them in another dimension, or whatever, in another life or something like that?
It's a very big question you're asking there, because there are several connections back in time, yes.
Okay.
And also in this family, it has been going on for generations that my family have seen them.
Oh, okay. And where are they coming from?
Pleiades, perhaps. I'm not that, how to say it, I never focused that much on where they are actually coming from. There are a lot of things that I'm never been interested in or focused on, as most of other people are thinking about. Most people want to like everything. Where do they come from? How old can they be? Do they are women and men and all this kind of stuff? For me, they are just there. So that's enough for me.
It's maybe because you know everything in your subconscious.
Perhaps.
Yeah, could be.
A lot of times also when people have these kinds of experiences, there is maybe there's a purpose for it for them. And otherwise they probably would not do it. But there's also a purpose for you, and very often they have a download of some type of information about something they will be doing later on. And I got a sneaky suspicion that you have one of those purposes, like educating other people and opening up their minds to that we are not alone. There are others like us out there, even though they look different. There are other minds out there, because in a mind-created universe, we're all mind anyway. So I think you have a purpose there. Now going to Nevada here next year, I think that's probably one of them, and you'll be very likely going on a speaking circuit to many, many different countries and helping people to open their minds to these kinds of things.
Hopefully I will, yes. I think there's a lot of new problems and new things on the agenda, not only the things that the UFO stuff, but also to help people that are abductees or are having experiences that they are afraid of or trying to find some solution on or someone to talk to and all this. And the UFO community is not always the best place to, it's like a labyrinth to figure out which one you should actually talk to.
Yeah. And there are also fakes out there that talk about stuff and they really didn't have it happen. I've run into those a few times too. And I think for what you will be doing, I think it will be very important to people, because they listen to your story and they think back and say, gee, I remember something like that. Maybe I should do a hypnosis session and find out more.
The best you can do, if you have some kind of experience that you have some ice in your stomach or ice in your gut, how you say it.
Yeah.
And don't rush to your family or the closest near you, because they are most likely the ones that will turn you down and not believe in you, or they can be very harsh. So have some ice and cool down and try to take the time you need to find the right persons to talk to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Go to the ones with the open mind, even though they may not necessarily have had an experience on their own, but an open mind that'll open doors.
That helps a lot, But of course, the best thing is that if you can find similar people with almost the same kind of experience, that's the best. But of course, it's also help if the person has been doing a lot of self-examinations and really figure out what this is and not are afraid of it anymore. Because I think that because of the TVs and all the propaganda that's all around, is too much hate, and it's scary business.
Yeah, and religion.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be that scary.
No.
I think that the people it's very easy to be afraid when you experience something that you have never experienced before, And I can just compare it with an animal. If you catch a wild animal, because of course we humans are very often catching wild animals to map them in some way and then releasing them again. Most of the time we are doing this is because that we want to help them in some way. But of course for that animal, they will be terrified because they have no idea what is going on.
Yeah.
And of course in many cases this can be the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And the animals, they do not understand what is going on either.
No.
And we don't understand all of that's going on to us. So there's a great similarity there. And maybe the animals go back to their own community and then talk about it, and then nobody talks to them anymore, huh?
Perhaps. You never know.
But Kate, can you reconnect with them whenever you want, or you have a way to communicate whenever you want, or you have to wait that you will be contacted by them?
I have to wait.
And when you
I can't say that I have been trying that much to connect with them.
Okay.
Because I know that it's a lot of time that is quiet, and then they will connect me if there are something that will be happening.
When you connect to them, do you communicate? So they give you messages? Can you ask questions? They give you knowledge, or how is how is the way that you connect with them?
It's different kind of ways actually. I had one very good and funny experience too. Also, for many years ago, I was visiting a friend of mine, one called Odd Gunnar Rød, and he was the leader in UFO Norway back then. And we had been sitting and talking about this subject for many, many hours. Also, it was very late in the night or early morning. And I was thinking, okay, it was time for me to go home. And I remember when I was opening the door and closing it behind me, and I was feeling that someone was watching me, but I was thinking, nah, it's just my mind that is making a joke or something like that, since we have been talking about this subject for so many hours. And I just forget about it and put myself in the car, start driving home. But then I was coming to this area on the highway where there's no light on beside the road. And just when I was going to turn on the, what are you calling it, the long light of the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
High beam. High beam.
High beam, yeah. I was just going to put on the high beam on the car. And then I could hear this clear voice. It was like this coming from above and just straight in my head, who said with clear voice, turn off the light of the car. And before my reasonable mind can say, oh, I can't do that, because if I do, I will see nothing. I was slowing down the car and I was turning out the light. And in the next moment, I had this huge, huge light show dancing all over the sky in front of me, of the car. So I was driving very slowly, and I was almost my head out of the window, and I was, wow. So it was so big and it was so strong that when it was gone, you can still see the way everything has been going. It was like if you are looking at if someone's taking a picture of you with a very blitz,
yeah,
and you take it away, you will still see the blitz. And this was the same thing, but then over the whole sky. So it was huge. And I was driving there very slowly in the dark with no lights on the car, and I was saying, more, I want more. So that is one way to connect. And other times they can just give me the feeling that they are around, and give me the feeling to go out or go somewhere.
Yeah, and there are people now that is learning how to communicate more so, and kind of like what you do. And I think if you keep communicating or trying to communicate like that, it'll probably be more and more of it. There are also ways that you can slow down the brainwave patterns. Just if you get it down into the bottom of the alpha range of brainwave patterns, that is a better way. That is a better way to communicate with some of them.
I think it's better if you can get rid of fear.
Yeah, that's tough. If you have fear, then you're never going to see alpha brainwave pattern.
No.
Yeah. But you don't have the fear, though.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Hmm.
Of course, there has been the last experience and the last close encounter I had, of course, that was more scary. And but later on, I was thinking, comparing it to a dentist hour.
Mm-hmm. There is in some medical circles, they have found that the people that are abducted and experimented on or researched by the visitors, they very often have the same blood type.
Mm.
And they found that. And this blood type is, let's see, I think it's RH negative. Do you know
No.
what blood type you have?
Um, oh, I've, what will that be in English? I think it's...
Try it in Norwegian, I'll translate.
Okay. Er det noe som heter negativ O?
O negative, okay.
I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, O negative is not a very common one either. I think it's the A and there's a cat, huh?
Yeah, I got some visitor.
Hey, look at that. O negative, okay. Yeah, so that's probably not very important for this purpose then, but there are very often that the people have that blood type. And there seems to be it's a generational thing probably in many families that they are being visited like this. And I kind of think that maybe it has something to do with genetics. Maybe there are people that have certain genetics that maybe the aliens need for something. I know there are some of these aliens that have explained that they are on the backside of the evolutionary curve, and they are extracting DNA from humans and injected into their offsprings so that they can raise the genetic value or qualities of their people.
For me, I can't say that I know so much about it because that hasn't been my field.
Yeah.
It's more, for me, it's more the astrophysics.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I can see how maybe there is some genetic connections, because if it goes in the same family, there have to be a connection from one generation to the next one. And what are these connections? So genetics is one of them, and maybe habits and traits within the family could be another one. And I suppose it's very hard to say what it could be.
For me, the only thing I know that is my mother and my grandfather has seen them. And yeah, and when it comes to the implants, it looks like that my son is also, the magnets is also sticking on his nose.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they has he talked about seeing them?
No. I think that he don't want to see them because I think that he is more scared.
Yeah.
But of course he is not as scared anymore because now he's getting older and he understands more.
Mm-hmm.
And of course he was thinking that his mother was a little bit strange and weird in the beginning, but now we understand it. She's probably not that strange.
Yeah, yeah. And I think probably he may have had a similar experience, but they wipe your memory of this, and that is probably still working for him.
Yeah. I was getting my from the last close encounter I had. Then I was getting all of it from the after the hypnosis. The only thing I remember the next morning was the mark on my face and the thing around my eyes and my nose.
Mm-hmm. What about your mother? Did she say anything about what kind of experience she had with them?
She has also, but she has also seen them, but then it has been more like how to say it, in the mid state when you are not awake, from you are awake till you are falling asleep, in the state between. Then she has seen the small grays several times.
She doesn't remember being taken anywhere.
No.
Well, maybe that also could be a wiped memory that keeps her from remembering.
It can be, but she doesn't feel any fear for them either. So they can't have been that bad.
Yeah. Have you
yeah.
physical changes that you can after these experiences? Do you have any physical changes afterwards? Maybe like you feel like they did something to me or anything like that?
Yeah, I can tell you the story from the last close encounter. I was going to this cabin in the mountain of Norway, in one place called Gol. And I was going to stay in this cabin for almost 2 months because I was working on a book. And there would be that's 20 kilometers to the next house with people. So I was actually very alone up there. And I was looking forward to it. It was just me alone in the mountains with a cat. And it was all quiet. So nice. I loved it. And of course, I didn't stay that long. I guess it was almost a week before I was getting back down. I was waking up in the morning, and I had this. It's a very big difference from a pillow mark. This was definitely not a pillow mark. It was like after a claw that had been hooked on my head, so you can really see the marks on my eyelids here. And I was very sore in my nose, and I had this greenish material from my eyes and from my nose. And of course, I was wondering a little bit about this when I was looking myself in the mirror in the morning. But my first thought was that, am I going to be sick or something? It's not the right time to be sick up here alone, and hoping for the best. And of course, I was getting up, making my breakfast, doing normal chores in the day, and didn't think so much about it anymore. And everything seems okay. But then the evening was coming, and I had no idea why I was so stressed up. My whole system was very stressed. And I remember I was trying to read the same magazine, I guess maybe 20 times the next night, because I didn't dare to fall asleep, and I had no idea why I was like that. And it became so bad that I was able to reach those people that were renting out the cabin to me, and they were coming the next day, picking me up and bringing me back to their house, because I didn't have a car. There was my friend Odd Gunnar that was driving me up there. And when I was coming back there was electricity. Then I could really see the big changes, because if you take a mobile phone charger, and I was putting that in a wall, it had the same sound as, when the microphone is screaming, when everyone is putting the fingers in their ears, it's just, terrible sound. That was the sound of my mobile phone charger. And I could hear the light bulbs, the humming in the TV, or everything that was electricity in. I could hear everything. And when people were talking, it was too loud, so I had to put papers or something in my ears to get the sound down. It was just terrible. And my friend was coming and getting me and drove me back to Tønsberg, where we were living. And I remember he had bought this perfume to me, and over the year I had put it on every day because of him. For myself, I never could smell it. And this day I was doing the same thing and put it on, and I was going out to his office. Just had to turn around, go inside again and wash it off, because now my smell was back. It was like, wow, it was really, really strong. And light sensitive and all this stuff. So it was a big change when I was coming back from the cabin. And then I was doing this hypnosis with a doctor in Oslo, and they found out that I had gone to sleep in the cabin, and there was a big bright light that was coming into my bedroom, and there was one of the tall gray creatures standing in the light. And in the next moment I was how do you say it? You're not lying on the floor, but you are in the air, floating in the air, in that firewood room, the kitchen, or yeah. And then I had these 3 smaller creatures standing around me, and they were putting this kind of helmet on my head. And there I could see the claws kind of thing on that helmet that was keeping the helmet still on my head. And there was this fork thing, this arms around here with this on with forks on that was going up in my nose. And there was needles that was going into my ears. So, and from that moment, I remember what happened when I was 10 years old. And I asked them, please don't let me remember anything more. And from that moment, everything was gray. And the hypnotherapist in Oslo, he was trying to get a hold on this gray area for almost 2 hours. The only thing that he was able to do was give me a terrible headache when I was back to normal again.
Wow. Well, I see now that we are at the bottom of the hour here, so we got to go and take a short break. We'll be gone for 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll be back talking with Kate Thorvaldsen about her phenomenal experience with ET.
The LNM Radio Network offers an exciting chat room for you, the listener. Come interact with your fellow listeners and like-minded people and talk about the shows, from the paranormal to conspiracies and anything else LNM related. All you have to do is go to the LNMRadioNetwork.com website and click the LNM official chat page button at the top of the homepage. Then click connect and you'll be able to log in to the chat room. We're here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the chat room is for both Studio A and Studio B. We look forward to seeing you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This is Jason Bland, host of Paranormal Soup on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network, and we're streaming as a webcast to our Facebook page, Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we have guests who will blow your mind, live ghost box sessions where you can call in to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the World Wide Web of Weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern on the LNM Radio Network.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
How to know if you should reach out to a friend. Your friend might be
worried, sad,
grumpy, angry,
stressed, weird, rebellious,
anxious, antisocial,
lonely,
sleeping less,
sleeping more,
eating less,
eating more.
Look, there are a lot of got things to watch out for, but you know your friend best. So if they're not acting themselves, why not say something? Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Won't you stay and play with me? I'm having a tea party. It's such a lovely day to have a tea party. I'm having a tea party. I'm having a tea party. Won't you stay and play with me?
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, the way they talk, the way they touch their hair. We hold details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones that we carry with us every day. Can we describe them when everything's right? Can we feel when something's wrong? Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. You don't know mine. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. That's knowyourgirls.org. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council. You don't know mine. Round and round we go.
Hello, and we are back with the Universal Consciousness Show, and we're talking with Kate Thorvaldsen over in Norway. We are talking about her many experiences in her contacts with ET. And the message that came through is a good one. There is, from what she has experienced, really not much to worry about. There is no fear here. And this is a good contact. So what I wanted to talk about also a little more now after the break here, she is writing a book, and also she has some implants. And let's talk a little bit about the book first. She is writing a book on astrophysics, and this sounds so interesting because on astrophysics, well, we have our own impression of what that is, but did she have any input to that from ET? That's what I was wondering about.
It's difficult to say, actually, because the astrophysics just started out of the blue, actually. I remember I was standing in the basement of my mother's house, and I was working on some wedding dresses. And of course, I have a deadline when it comes to wedding dresses. So, of course, my head was especially not on astrophysics. I remember I was standing there working with this, and then suddenly just some numbers starting to come in my head. 1, 3, 7, 12. And I was thinking, okay, what's this? I had no idea. And continue working, and then it started to repeat itself. Then in the next moment, I'm starting to see this. It looks like threads or pearls. Looks like a DNA string. And then I turn it up one more, but then without the bindings. So it looks like a DNA string with a spiral kind of shape. But then it's starting to build up, and it was becoming quite huge. And then in the next moment, I'm just getting the feeling. Let's say that you are standing here, and in the next moment someone is dragging you like that, and you are not out in this universe. You are outside the universe and even further out as possible you can be. And you are hanging there in nothingness and just having this huge view ever. It looks like sorry, the biggest DNA structure donut you can ever think of. And there was this very, very bright light in the middle. And I was getting the feeling that, oh, this is everything. Absolutely everything. And then in the next moment again, then I was just dragged in again into the picture that I had in front of me. And I was diving into one of these little spheres, these balls. And when I was diving into this one, I was seeing it was very much the same. I will use the word for atom and electrons, with the atom in the middle, and you have the electrons flying around. Of course, they were not the atom and not the electrons, but it was very much the same image. And then I was, my mind was starting to following one of the electrons. And when that was getting unstable, then it blew up. And that was actually our Big Bang. And then I was following everything that was happening with the matter of this little electron that was exploding, and following all of it all the way back to today and our own galaxy and our own solar system. And then in the next moment, I was back in my basement and holding my wedding dress again. So it was quite a ride.
Wow. How long did it last?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Seconds, minute, I don't know. But it was a view I think I will never forget.
Wow.
And everything that I have received later when it comes to astrophysics, everything has been built up on this model and how everything works together.
Mm-hmm. Well, it kind of sounds to me like you had some impressions that came from the outside, or this may have a connection to your friends, the little gray.
Perhaps they can have.
Yeah.
Sorry, my throat is having a little fun with me here.
Yeah.
There has been those that have been having fun with me and saying that all my implants are making me like an antenna or something. That maybe that's the reason why I'm getting the information downloaded so easily. Many people has been over many years working with meditation and all kind of stuff to connect with the matrix, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I have never needed to do that. A lot of time in my life I have experienced all kind of stuff that have been making me thinking, why do I experience this? I didn't even try to do it or receive it, but it just happens. And of course now when it comes to the astrophysics, then I need something to trigger my mind, and then it will start to process and download stuff. So when it comes to the astrophysics book, that will take time, because every time I'm trying to categorize and get all the papers in the right order and so on, before I know it, it will start downloading something new. So I just have to use my time to write that down instead of working on the book. So yeah, it will take some time.
Oh, yeah. So do you have any idea when the book will be out so we could read it?
Hopefully that book will be before summertime next year, I hope.
Yeah.
It will take a long time because I had to make all the pictures, all the illustrations. So that will take time. So yeah. I guess that my other book, I have two books now, one in Norwegian and one in English. And it's being translated to English now, actually. So hopefully both of them will be done before Christmas. And that will be called The Hybrid Story.
Yeah, The Hybrid Story. Then, you have that in Norwegian now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I haven't published it yet because I will be making both of them coming out on the same time.
Oh, okay. All right. But these two, well, all these three books that you're now talking about, well, the two in on the same title, and then the astrophysics, that would be important for you to have when you go to Nevada.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So
Yeah.
of course I will do my best to be done with them before I go there. But
Yeah.
as long as I will be done with the English version of the first book, that will do.
Yeah. When is that function in Nevada?
That will be on from the 24th to 30th of March next year.
Okay. All right. Do you feel like you're more psychic or more intuitive because of maybe what you have had happen to you?
Perhaps. Most of the time I'm trying my best to put on this when I'm out, because I'm catching up too much of the people around me, especially if I'm coming to places where they are very quiet. Then it's getting even worse. So for me personally, I'm not interested in how it looks like in people's homes or what all kind of experiences they have and so on. And so I will do my best to just shut myself down kind of way. So so I will not see or hear it.
Mm-hmm. Now you have quite a few implants.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about those implants and maybe also what you think they are doing for you?
Yeah. Of course, over the years, I have heard a lot of the implants, and I was joking, of course, too, that maybe I have some and maybe I don't. That was all my interest in it. Just the same thing that I was. It has the same interest as where they was coming from. Not that much actually, but in 2016, a friend of mine, Sid Goldberg from Toronto, he was working on several cases up there, and they were using these very strong, very tiny magnets, neodymium magnets, and to see if the magnets were sticking on their skin. Normally they did if they had implants. And he told me, why don't you buy these magnets and try it for yourself? Because over the years, I always had this kind of very, very little triangle shaped thing on my neck. And I was thinking, okay, why not? I can do that. And one thing is to buy it and think that perhaps you have. And then you're putting the magnet on and magnet sticks. And you are getting a little bit, okay, what do we do now? So, yeah. And I had a friend over and he said, since your nose always had been closed, why don't you try it on your nose? And I said, okay, I can do that. And it stuck there too. So then it was a little bit more, okay. So then we were having a little research party all over my body. And the first time they were finding almost 28 places where the magnet was sticking. If you put the magnet just a few millimeters on the wrong side or to the side, it will fall off. But when you're getting on the right spot, it will stick. Of course, now I have a little bit of makeup on, and I can demonstrate here. Try to get rid of a little bit of it. Just a little tiny. See if it will not fall off.
Yeah.
So it sticks. I can take it this way. And of course, if someone is out there is thinking that, oh, maybe I have some of this, then it's very important that your skin is very neutral as possible. Not too much grease on it, not makeup, not too hot or cold. Try to be as neutral as possible. So no one can say afterwards, oh, it was sticking because of the makeup or your fat, greasy skin or anything. So as you can see, it will not fall off. Even if I was standing on the floor and jumping, it will not fall off.
That's phenomenal. That's not supposed to happen.
No. So we were going to this man that is a chiropractor in Tønsberg that also had the X-rays. And we were asking him, in your education, do you know if it's possible for magnets to stick on the human body? And he was just looking at you and laughing. I said, no way, magnets is not going to stick on you. So when I was coming out from the X-rays, then I took the magnet up and I put it on my nose and other places, and he was just, okay, that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
that was actually a little funny. So we found out that I had both sides here, both sides on my nose, both sides here, and both sides on my neck, and 5 in the front, and it was following my back of my head and all the way down my spine, and several other places. And later on, we found out we were going to take new pictures of this, and then suddenly the magnet, some of the places, the magnet wouldn't stick anymore. And I said, okay. And then I was getting this idea that let's try in the front. So then it was actually sticking new places in the front instead. So maybe some is deactivating themselves and other deactivate themselves again. I don't know. Of course, I don't have the answer for what is going on with the magnets.
Or maybe you had another experience and maybe 1 or 2 of the magnets or the implants were removed and then placed somewhere else.
I don't know. For me, I just have the feeling that they are not. They are more how do you say it? Biological material kind of way, so they will not show up that easily on the screen.
Yeah.
Of course, you can see a little tiny dots in most of the places that magnet sticks on the X-rays. But the funny thing is with the thing on my neck is that on the X-ray you can see the bump on my skin, but when you are seeing it in the front of it, you can see there's nothing there. So that's a little bit funny.
Wow.
But still, it sticks.
Fantastic story you have here, and an experience like this. I know there are people that would love to have an experience like this, and then I also hear that some people that have had it turned into a nightmare for them. So for you it's been a good one though.
Yeah, for me I have the feeling that all the things that they have been doing to me has never been to harm me in any way. I feel it more, it has been to help me. And probably that can also be the reason why I'm downloading everything that I need to know that fast. Because if something triggers my mind, I can just put my eyes on the wall or on the table, or that sounded like I was putting like that. I'm not doing that. Yeah. I'm just looking at the table, and then the film just starts. I don't need to do anything.
Well, I see that we're getting down towards the end of the show here. About 2 minutes left, and
more visitors.
Hey, look at that guy. That's a nice dog. All right. And there are people out there that may be listening to this show and they are telling themselves, gee, I had an experience that I cannot explain. Maybe it was similar. What would you take? What would you say to them? The last message.
Of course, as I said before, it's very. You need to take some time to figure out which one you should talk to, really talk to on a deep level. When you're going to the UFO Society, those ones that are screaming the highest on the stage, probably not those that you are supposed to talk to, because they most likely want to hear their own story repeated instead of listen to yours. Then you also need to stay away most of the time from family, because they are most of the time not going to give you the response that you are hoping for. When it comes to the psychiatry or that kind of people, stay away from them, because most of those people, they have non-experience on this field at all. So they will just give you drugs or putting some diagnose on you. So take some time, figure out which other persons that you looks normal, behave normals, are no drama queens in any way, and are interested in your case and being a fellow human with the same kind of experience. So take your time, have some ice in your stomach, and yeah.
Yeah. I guess it goes back to the good old saying, you know, that for the one who have had the experience, no explanation is necessary.
Yeah,
For the
that's
one
that
who
too.
have, for the one who have not had the experience, no explanation is possible.
Yeah, that's also very true.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Wow, this was a phenomenal story here. So thank you very much for being with us, and I wish you good luck on your journey and get your books done. And hey, maybe we can meet when you get to the U.S. That would be kind of fun.
That would be very nice. And
Yeah.
if someone is listening and living in Bulgaria or around Bulgaria and want to take a trip there, I'm going to be a speaker there on the conference there in the 3rd and 4th November.
Okay. Well,
In
I'll keep
Nost.
those dates in mind. And wow, this is, I'm still, my head's spinning here, so this is good. All right. Thank you very much for being with us, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.